all of the children equally. How can they find the time or make the space to monitor and guide each child? Where, amidst the demands of curriculum and time, will they get the moment to realise that a child, your child or your grandchild, needs extra help or special time? We have 450,000 primary pupils in our overcrowded classrooms and schools. In 12 years' time, we will have as many as 650,000, according to the Central Statistics Office. Our population is growing, but we have no place to accommodate our young children in decent classrooms. Already, we have an estimated 45,000 primary pupils in prefabs. We have recently learnt that we have 50,000 new homes lying idle in ghost housing estates. This is more than 2 years' supply that our growing households and populations would require. Many were built in out-of-the-way places with unnecessary tax incentives. Their physical presence is an empty monument to the incompetence of Fianna Fáil, the economically illiterate policies of Ministers McCreevy and Cowan, and the greed of the Galway tent. Count Corla, bankers and builders fell over themselves to persuade their bought political clients that the bubble could never bust. How wrong they were. They would not listen. Fianna Fáil simply did not understand. Last year, 2007, former Taoiseach Bertie Ahern, at a conference in Bundoran, wondered aloud in an offside why some gloomy forecasters of our economy simply didn't commit suicide. As late as this June, we were accused by the Taoiseach Brian Cowan of talking down the economy. Count Corla, in years to come, children will ask their parents, who repeatedly and unquestionably voted Fianna Fáil and the Greens, what did you do in the boom? Where did the money go? Why did I spend my 12 years in school in a prefab? Count Corla, the world's economy is changing rapidly, even dramatically, before our very eyes. Economic and political power is shifting from the West, America, Europe and like-minded countries, to Brazil, China and India. The 500 years of European dominance, of which we are an intrinsic part, is now being rebalanced. We live in a very competitive global economy, and that competition will increase and intensify as we grow old and as our children come into age. Our future within the European Union is the consolidation of our knowledge-based economy and a society built on fairness, equality and solidarity. The Labour Party supports the National Skills Strategy, which underpins the goal of a knowledge-based economy. We do, and we've never challenged it. We've helped in part to create it, but we do support it. We do need to increase our third-level graduates from 55% of student population up to 72% by 2020 to achieve that goal. Today, the children of some of our social groups in our society are already there in third level. 100% of higher professional socio-economic group and 98% of the farming community. The abolition of third level fees by Labour and government removed the final psychological and financial barrier for families whose parents had never gone to college. Education is not free at any level. It's not free at any level. Ask any parent about that. But now, at last, it is accessible to all, at least until the Greens and Fianna Fáil reintroduce college fees, because they cannot read. Minister of State Sean Haughey has reluctantly admitted to me in the Dáil that as many as 500,000 of our citizens, 500,000, are functionally illiterate. That number is growing. Budget 2009 will accelerate that growth. It will accelerate that growth. And you know what? Dropouts drop into unemployment. Then long-term unemployment, or possibly even worse, self-abuse, drug addiction, or crime, or maybe all three. Ask the Governor of Mountjoy Jail. The impact of this budget on our education system is, quite frankly, simply disastrous. At a time of need for more investment, we are disimproving a key measure in our educational system, the pupil-teacher ratio. As a consequence, we are now heading to the bottom of the OECD Educational League. The Celtic Tiger, under the management of Fianna Fáil and the Greens, is facing relegation. Count Corla, I estimate, insofar as we can measure the figures, that up to 1.5 million people will be directly affected by the measures contained in this pernicious budget. Not once, but frequently, with disastrous results. Children, students, parents, and even grandparents will all be touched, damaged and wounded by these measures. Minister Bat O'Keefe, who's in the House tonight, said that the cutbacks would last for only 2 years. Wrong, Minister. For some, they will be a life sentence. A life sentence. Ministers of State, members of Fianna Fáil, and God love them, the Green Party. Labour is not trying to score political points, nor are we trying to bring down this government in our motion tonight. We simply want to change that element of the budget that affects education. We actually share the views of the chairman of the Joint Oireachtas Committee on Education and Science, Green Deputy Paul Goldie. He said, and I quote, "I do not have to repeat," this might have been in the letter that you got in Beijing or Shanghai, Minister, "I do not have to repeat what I have said about education being a building block for future prosperity and social cohesion, and the collective failure of the body politic, government and opposition to give real commitments to education so that we may reap the real rewards, albeit in some cases beyond the narrow 5-year electoral cycle. Funding education pays back in so many ways, and making cuts in the wrong place can cause irreparable damage. If ever cuts were made in the wrong place, these are them. And yes, they will cause irreparable damage. Labour Party, and I believe all parties, and I believe opposition deputies in this House and government backbench deputies, many of whom have expertise and experience in primary education, are working together to try to secure our future and defend our children. Ireland is still a rich country, but is currently in economic difficulties. We can together overcome those difficulties by creative thinking, hard work and inspired political leadership. We have done it before. But please, do not use our children's future to copper fasten your deeply flawed budget. Ministers and deputies in Fianna Fáil and the Green Party, I think it's time to go back to the drawing board.
Thank you.